All right. Good morning, everybody, and welcome to a new month in 2022. We are all set and ready to go. So, as always, let's kick it off with our introduction. This is Engineering the Markets. My name is Jared, and it is February 1st, 2022. Welcome to a new month. We've had an interesting start to the year. And as always, a new month means new information for the market to digest. We also have new confirmed or closed candle structures. And let's take a look at the S&P from the perspective of the monthly chart. Now, obviously, this is a pretty slow moving chart in response to things like moving averages, which, as we know, the market is still very elevated from its 20-period monthly moving average. You would almost need to bring in additional moving averages. Things like a 9 would be applicable, and you can start to see the price converging near this particular average, although this past month we did see a pretty decent breach of this area. And then, of course, on yesterday's rally, a nice close slightly above something like a 9-period simple moving average. But let's start off our conversation with something a little bit more simple. Let's take a look at the market from the perspective of the size of this retracement relative to a notable or an anchored swing low that the market has obviously set due to a specific catalyst. And one of the simplest ones we can take has been our new swing low based on COVID, or the COVID crash of February and March. Now, just like any particular retracement, you want to start to look at the size of the drawdown relative to the anchored highs and lows of your overall trading range. And on the monthly, you might say, well, this is a pretty large range. It's pretty much half of the total price action of the S&P from low to high. And that certainly is true. But for some perspective of what kind of month January has given us, we've obviously seen quite a bit of volatility. And based upon this retracement size, we've approximately seen from low to high a drawdown of approximately 20% in response to the trading range from COVID low to all-time high. Now, of course, this doesn't mean we had a 20% drop from all-time high. This is an anchored position in regards to this range, but it gives you a sense of the type of pullback that the market has experienced, along with the lack of penetration that the overall uptrend has had in previous drawdowns. For example, one of the more simple areas to consider based upon some volatility was prior to the election. And this is, of course, as the market was making new all-time highs, along with seeing the volatility of uncertainty leading up to the 2020 election cycle. And based upon that anchored approach, this market also experienced a similar drawdown, getting down to about the 25% retracement level, once again anchored close to the COVID lows. I believe I have it marked close enough with the overall price. So, market certainly had a tough time in January. And while we are seeing a recovery phase, which we'll look at as we get into shorter time frames, it's worth considering that this is one of the first periods of the S&P since the COVID lows where we're essentially trying to recover into overhead supply. And what this means is that the depth of penetration on the overall uptrend and the strength of the dominant trend line, depending on how you anchor it, of course, this becomes a bit skewed as the market was starting to adjust to a more normalized trend. And as we sort of move this out, you can see that we have, of course, breached a very notable trend line for the first time since the election cycle, and arguably, depending on your scale, something like a log scale, for example, you can start to see the type of technical sort of evaluation that the market is going through based upon the recent month of trade. And obviously, we have a lot of factors affecting this performance, the likes of the new information we've gotten from the Fed in regards to potential rate hikes in 2022. Lots of upcoming speculation as to whether the rate hikes will be controlled and relatively static in their implementation, or will we see sort of a surprise double rate hike potentially occurring in either March or June. But as we shift into a weekly perspective, the market obviously shifts. And of course, that trend line perspective, let me go back into our normal scale just to avoid any deviation from what we normally discuss. That trend line, of course, being breached for the first time as we saw January volatility. Now, the perspective here is a simple one. Obviously, the market is going through a bit of a relief rally based on Friday and yesterday's performance. We'll obviously dig into that in just a bit. But as we start to drill down, you can see the type of perception change of where this market is in regards to its dominant trend. We've certainly lost a bit of structure. And of course, the market has made its first new swing low, at least on a weekly perspective, since something like previous COVID lows. Most of these drawdowns did not necessarily breach a previous swing low before making a new high. And usually what you'll see is that this trending structure tends to have some divergence near the highs. Of course, always easy in retrospect to identify these, but simple divergences as RSI, as the market is making new highs, you get lower RSI readings, usually from an overextended position. Things like MACD rollover or crossing of your MACD trend lines, usually default 12 and 26 lines starting to cross on divergent signals. Bit more bearish momentum overall in the market. And then depending on your oscillator of choice, you can have sort of Williams R, stochastics. There's plenty of very similar approaches to reading sort of a high to low and low to high oscillation of market movement, sort of the cycles of the market conditions. You will start to see a lot of these pointing both to a lower cycle, basically trying to complete a full oscillation from high to low. And all this is great for our technical approach because what it gives us is a sense of clarity as we see the market climb and as we go day in and day out into our probably lowest time frame for the approach of this particular show, which is our daily. Now, some interesting nuances start to appear on the daily, and we'll look at how the market has reclaimed the 200. We are seeing higher buying volume on the potential 5-day breakout. Obviously, a fairly high volume signal at the relative low. That, of course, indicated not necessarily that the market was going to immediately bounce. We certainly saw plenty of chop underneath the 200. But, of course, the signaling that this low might be set for the time being, and it would be very challenging for new bearish momentum to break this low from a very, I would say, downside position. Usually you want to see a bounce first and then new bearish momentum sort of stepping in at a stronger resistance level. Now, as we start to climb and as we start to reclaim some ground in the market, there's a few ways for us to evaluate upper resistance. And once again, this is the idea that this market is coming into an approach that it hasn't really seen in recent trading months or even the past year or two in regards to this particular trend line break. It's going to be an interesting outlook for the rest of the month, especially as the market starts to decide whether or not this was a true trend breach. The market is starting to change either neutral or potentially even a bit more bearish moving forward, along with if this trend can be reclaimed. That's obviously going to take some effort in regards to getting back above and sort of back testing our trend line. That can lead to a very strong sort of melt up phase or bullish all-time high breakout into almost parabolic trading for the rest of the year. It can kind of change the sentiment based around how the market moves through these particular trading ranges. And some of these ranges, of course, are pretty obvious. We have things like the most recent swing lows after a new all-time high was made. This often sets the low of consideration for future trade before making new highs. And this often can be seen with things like sharper drawdowns, usually the loss of quote unquote shorter time frame trending structure. In the case of the daily, we did make a new swing low. So we knew that a possible range was being formed as weekly consolidation was taking place. We can also see that the market likes to respond to these levels quite clearly. You could have things like this particular spike low, which isn't necessarily a breach of our trading range, or sorry, a loss of our trading range. It is, however, a test. Something like a possible downside liquidity grab before the market makes an advance back to resistance. In this case, roughly this area here, which I've gone ahead and removed since we moved away from this range in more recent weeks. But as you can see, the bounce yesterday had a clear target, and the strength in the market was quite dedicated to moving back into testing the lower bound of this particular trading range. We also had some nuance in regards to maybe shorter term trade, the likes of a gap or void area, one that the market has already filled. But as you can see, the lack of trading structure provided some intraday opportunity, especially as the market was in this upper bound range and we were seeing some potential stall before the final advance that occurred in the afternoon. This is that final retest that occurred into the close on yesterday's session. So this nuance and the sort of technical approach that we take day in and day out, the expectation of the market moving forward as we are starting to get into resistance. This is the idea that a bear market rally, if we are truly in or entering into a new bearish phase for 2022, a bear market rally is going to experience counter trend bounces. They usually are quite powerful. They also tend to be what's known as correlated. And we talk about correlated in the sense of intraday trade, but it's also important to understand the type of opportunity that a correlated bounce or a correlated sell-off offers an intraday trader. And one of the better ways to see correlation is often through things like in market internals. Now, this is a screenshot that I took at the end of yesterday's session. And this is a tool that thinkorswim offers in regards to visualizing some of the underlying information for a particular watch list. In this case, the watch list in question is a NASDAQ 100, one of our stronger indexes on yesterday's session. And this visualization is simply showing, at least based on the screenshot, which stocks in the NASDAQ 100 are advancing and which stocks are declining. There's often there's going to be a breakdown further below the screenshot, but for the purpose of this conversation, just showing these overall aggregation metrics. What I want to call out here is that on yesterday's session, ever since the beginning of the market open, we saw a very timid pullback, the NASDAQ especially pulling back to previous day close. And then, of course, we saw an all-out rally. And a lot of people, especially given more of the recency bias that this market is providing, immediately switched into, well, if it's a bounce day, I want to try and short it because I'm getting better opportunity long in regards to my pricing. And therefore, if the market does begin to sell off again, I am prepared at a very good risk to reward in regards to another volatile sell-off. However, for an intraday trader, it's often worthwhile to understand the dynamics of the market. Understanding that while we are in some sort of counter trend rally, we've seen plenty of downside volatility over the past 2 weeks. And while we are getting a fresh breakout, the market is advertising that this rally is not something to really step into short until we see another sort of pivot, a rejection, some sort of confirmation in regards to where the rally is about to stop. And that's, of course, going to be seen on things like resistance points, trend backtests, or potentially just a new catalyst entering the market that provides that sort of fear back to the downside. But as I switch back into this look, I want to call out the type of correlated buying that we saw yesterday. And this can be seen the likes of the volume, where 91 stocks had advanced on the session on yesterday's close, of which those stocks captured this amount of volume overall. We did have some declining stocks. They were not necessarily big market movers. You want to be thinking things like a couple of healthcare names were not necessarily down big, but they were red on the session, along with a little bit of odds and ends in the NASDAQ 100, none of which were large market cap leaders. But more importantly than things like volume and sort of assessing market cap, looking at something like capital flow, which often represents the here and now. The idea that if the market wants to continue pushing higher, if we are in some sort of trending day, then not only do you need a sort of strong beginning to that setup, usually more of a bullish or bearish lean overall, a breakout, some alternate thesis, counter trend sort of rejection, something of note. You also need the money to back it up. You need capitals to support that thesis. And the more capital in your favor, the more likely the market will continue to move in the direction of the trend. In this case, yesterday's trend was very clearly bullish. Excuse me. And what I want to show is specifically the amount of capital that was being placed on yesterday's session. It's a very interesting end to January, as there may have been some rebalancing occurring. Obviously, a fresh breakout above the 200, little bit of return of confidence to some bullish investors, potentially longer term participants stepping back in to certain stocks. And of course, some of our market cap leaders. We know Apple, of course, reported earnings. It had a continuation day. There was some relative strength in Tesla. That one also reported earnings and recovered a large portion of its earnings sell-off. And all that combined leads into this capital metric here, which, as you can see, we're talking about approximately 43 million at the time of this screenshot in declining stocks, compared to 9.5 billion inside of advancing stocks. Now, for the uninitiated as to the type of difference that is, think about it in terms of a ratio. we're talking about, let's say, 45 million, just to round things up, compared to 9 or 9.5 billion, which when you compare those two metrics is approximately 200 to 225 to 1 capital flow into advancing stocks compared to declining stocks. We're talking about pretty much an all-out bullish rally, supported by capital flow, supported by the types of stocks that were bullish on the session, and then, of course, the type of overall confirmation that we continue to see throughout the intraday sessions. New highs, new swing lows, a little bit of an afternoon volatility, but of course the market closed very strong. And we saw some of that begin on Friday, continuing into yesterday's session. So inside of the chat room, we had a conversation about knowing this information ahead of time. There's obviously different platforms that can give you a clue as to this type of market internal visualization or just some of the metrics. Knowing that the market is supporting whatever is the dominant trend. In this case, it was bullish. We do see ourselves running into resistance, but we just started to run into this area on yesterday's close. So obviously playing that range, playing it in the favor of the capital movement and trying to facilitate an intraday bias, which happened to be very dominantly bullish on yesterday's session. So as we shift back into an outlook for today, market position is one of interest. Very strong rally, 2-day continuation play. Market obviously is coming into its first level, a pretty major resistance in regards to approximately 450 on the S&Ps. The NASDAQ, as it was a leader on yesterday's session, is still technically underneath its retracement and starting to run into its 200-day moving average. It is postured overall weaker from high to low, but it had a stronger intraday recovery. This is often seen when the market goes from risk off to more risk on, usually from value into growth, and usually seeing the flip of the market as the recovery can be stronger in typically riskier names. It's just the type of volatility that this market encounters. And as we see, the NASDAQ is coming into our retracement line. We have the 200 period. And then over time, as we see this market recover, we will eventually be evaluating the response inside of its upper trading range. And this, of course, is quite a ways away. So we will need to see additional information as the market either sells once again or decides to chop, basically to form a new trading range for us to evaluate moving forward. And then last but not least, some relative strength also seen in small caps. Some notable interesting location here in regards to our weekly. We can look at things like a 100 period moving average. I'll just go ahead and adjust my 200 here to showcase what this looks like. And these are often facilitating things like short-term positioning, trade ideas, potentially investment location, depending on the types of stocks you are interested in buying long-term, along with just a lower risk and higher reward type setup after a market has corrected. Usually people are going to be looking at things like depth of retracement comparative to previous swing lows. And we'll just kind of take this measured move here. You can see that we did somewhat form an ABC type structure, high to low before a range is formed, and then a new sell swing, similar in length from a previous sell, along with a similar response once the selling is over. And that, of course, can be seen with the type of stopping volume that we encountered last week. So every single participant in the market, for the most part, had some type of reversal structure forming. Usually some needed additional confirmation. Some were stocks that were already in play. Usually market cap leaders were already sort of positioned well for a market bounce. A lot of people often return to those names based upon their relative performance and just their dominant leadership from a company or fundamental perspective. And then, of course, as risk on becomes something to observe, you're going to see riskier names start to also catch some interest. Usually there's a hard way to kind of see those riskier names, but something as simple as biotech, sort of an industry that has been beaten down in a recent trade and has affected small caps to some degree. Similar sort of reversal near low points, along with a lack of follow through as the market has simply corrected enough before seeing a counter trend rally. These rallies, of course, need to be evaluated in the moment. We need to be talking about the size of the pullbacks, looking at how far these moves go, talking about the sort of pivoting structure once we do see a stall, and essentially trading without a overarching bias. Usually it can be quite challenging to say looking bullish inside of an intraday session without the information on hand. But as you move through overhead supply, you want to be looking for those signals. Is the market putting up a fight? Are we starting to stall out of our breakout momentum? Are we back at a dominant resistance point, a place that the market has stalled in the past? Usually the 100 here, as I've adjusted, is starting to cross, and seeing the type of divergence in the market while also playing the move back into these zones of interest, basically to remain flexible and mobile throughout a trading market environment that we have. Now, last but not least, looking at this correction from the mindset of two different types of individuals. Obviously, the investor mindset should be looking at most corrections as an opportunity. They're picking up shares in certain companies on discount, depending on the size of the retracement, whether the company is still undervalued from their model, along with just understanding that in order to make significant wealth as an investor, you need to be buying things on discount and selling them when they are overvalued. This is not necessarily going to reflect the same mindset of a trader. Traders need to think in terms of risk to reward. They need to think about opportunity cost. They also need to think about the market condition. Often markets cycle through different phases, usually based around risk-free money, along with the type of economic fear and uncertainty that it's being provided. All of this factors into a market that overall provides plenty of opportunity for all participants, so long as your risk management and style is matching the current environment that is being presented. So overall, this has been a great, interesting start to the year. First month, obviously, in the books. Usually January can kind of set the tone for the rest of the year. Stock Almanac talks about sort of the January barometer. I'll recommend you look that up. And as we came off of a Santa Claus rally, decent overall return, and that first sort of week of January, bit of an interesting beginning to the year with a steep sell. The rest of the year is kind of ominous in regards to that barometer's look, along with what the market is going to provide in terms of relative performance compared to last year. So as always, trade safe, stay in tune with what the market is giving at the moment in time, and this will give you your best risk reward as an intraday trader. And as always, stay tuned for pre-market prep where we'll dive in a bit deeper. See y'all tomorrow. Talk soon.
All right. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Open Market Prep. I hope everyone is having an amazing morning. Hope you guys had an incredible day yesterday. Good morning, Norm. How you doing today?
Good morning, brother. I'm doing well. How are you?
Doing good, man. Doing real good. Yeah, can't complain. Um,
Good.
Make sure. Oh yeah, that's good. All right, perfect. All right, guys, let's get to it. Let's look at what an amazing day we had yesterday. I mean, it was just a good day all around. You could have watched a number of things, and everything was kind of heading just northeast. Right, that was the theme yesterday. A nice bounce back day from what we saw. Starting with AMD on our list, and again, you can look at AMD, you can look at Apple, you can look at any tech stock that gets some movement that does trade very well and AMD yesterday. Obviously, a little struggle to get going, but then once it broke this 105 and everything was kind of following suit, you can see how beautiful this takeoff was, right? So nice breakout. What makes AMD special here is the level that is breaking out of, right? You have a clear level to play here. Which is this 108 high of the pre-market, beautiful breakout there, and then it really never looked back, right? Held on to that 9 moving average, couple of tests to the 20, but found a way to make higher highs there. So that's pretty good. Nia was also very explosive right out of the gates, guys. This thing just took off here above some of the levels that we had in the pre-market, some of our daily levels, and it just went insane, hitting some of the levels we had here on the daily over at 24.75ish or so. So pretty nice trade there. Apple as well, same thing, took off at the market open. It struggled a little bit around 173. But again, it had a nice little pop here. Didn't run as much as we've seen other stocks run yesterday, but still not a bad start to the day there. It's just if you missed it, you had a little tough time within this range here. Outside of that, it's still a pretty good trade. Lucid, not as clean. I mean, looking at everything else, this was yes, it did get going, but it didn't have clean price action as other stuff did, like Netflix, Nvidia. Not sorry, not Netflix, AMD, Nvidia, and other stocks traded a whole lot better than this one. Here we have EMBYND guys. Even Norm, I know even BYND traded well yesterday. Did give you a nice little pop here. Hood as well. Again, just a slew of things that traded very decent yesterday. So with that said, let's get into the SPY, guys. See what's going on there, and then we'll take a look at our gappers list this morning. I think I lost your volume, Norm.
Sorry.
Yeah. There you are.
Yep.
I got you.
We're pretty flat this morning. Nothing too crazy. Spy flat. Q's up 1/4%. It's been an interesting couple of days. We had that ramp on Friday, which is usually after some weakness, it's going to show we're going to maybe have a couple of days of strength. We'll see how far we follow through, whether it's just a few days or continues even longer. With the poor January we had, as Jared mentioned, a lot of people consider that barometer for what the year is going to look like. And if that's the case, we're in for a rough time. Anyway, that having been said, we do have some of these growth stocks that have been beaten down a ton recently, popping up on the gap up list. So yeah,
Yep.
see what we got. I
We'll see
think
where
we're gonna
this
have plenty
goes.
of choices today.
Yeah, I agree. I think this day is going to be exciting, to say the least. On our gappers list this morning so far, guys, a ton of stuff in the green, as you can see here. So that looking very well. All of our favorites are on here: Nvidia, AMD. We have I know some of you guys like SQ and Snap. These are on there today. We have a lot. We have a lot going on. Leading the way this morning, though, AMC. So let's take a look at
Yeah.
AMC today. That is leading the
They were
charge this morning.
pre-released some numbers ahead of earnings, so that's popped them this morning. Of course, also meme stock. Yeah,
Yeah, they're up a nice 10% today with some decent volume, guys. 7.1 million shares traded. So definitely on our list. Let's get rid of this. Control A, Control X gets rid of that. And we are going to add here AMC on the list, 7.1 million with a nice little pop there with a catalyst. So that's good too. We'll remove some of these levels we had here because we got plenty of stuff happening down here as we're kind of not, I don't want to say bottoming them out because it's just consolidating. UPS this morning. UPS looks like earnings as
earnings.
well.
Yeah, they had earnings this morning.
All right, so UPS also on the list today. I'm just gonna go ahead and link my trade ideas because it's not linked. So earnings, that's the only time, well, not only time, but usually when we look at UPS, it's because of earnings. This morning they're
Yeah, I mean
making our list
it's
here.
tough. It's got a big
Yeah.
gap. Or excuse me, it's got a big spread. Gapped up 8.3. That's a bit of a tough one to trade. It doesn't run super heavy volume, clean order flow.
Yeah, no, it's definitely not a clean one. So I'm gonna skip on it, guys. Even as a possible, I'll be wasting a spot because I know I personally would not be looking at it. But definitely in play today. It all depends on your style. This is definitely in play this morning. NVAX, I'm not a huge fan of this one. I'm gonna skip on it. You guys know why. We talked about it quite a bit here on the show. PLTR this morning. We do got some good volume on PLTR, and we do have some good ranges here today. I do like the activity we're getting out of it. Is usually not the best type trading stock, but it looks decent today. At least worth giving it a second look. I'm going to add PLTR to the list. Again, this stock could be a hit or miss. It can be very, very choppy at times. So we'll see how that goes. But so far, looking like a decent stock this morning. Lucid, again, got going yesterday, but compared to everything else, I think their shine got a little bit overshadowed a little bit with like AMD, NVIDIA, and Apple doing amazing things. Lucid this morning, they're up 4.3, 898,000 shares traded. Yeah, a possible, I'm going to say. I mean, we had a great pre-market activity yesterday too, but man, it was just not the best trading stock. So we'll see if today that's going to change things around a little bit. Snap on our list right over here, SNAP. Snap this morning up 4%, 175,000. Volume is light on Snap today. I know they're gapping up 4%, but this stock trades heavy volume. And they're a little bit lighter in the pre-market than what I would like to see. I know
They
they
got an
have
up.
some, yeah, some
Well, they got an
news.
upgrade this morning. They report later this week, so
Mhm.
Thursday, I think, after close.
All right, so maybe we'll see how that the upgrade goes over at the market open. But that's when you're gonna have to wait for the market open because Snap is one of those stocks that you need heavy volume to be able to trade that correctly or at least have a decent shot. MTTR we've seen before doesn't trade very well, crappy stock. Moving on to LI this morning, I think that Neos and the other stock probably better to watch than LI this morning. Neo had again great day yesterday, guys. Really took off here. I mean, they've been selling down quite a bit on the daily, and they took advantage of this market strength that they saw yesterday. So yeah, it did pretty well there. 1.8 million shares already. That this was a big move. I don't know if we're gonna get any crazy continuation today on this, but already we have some decent volume. Might be worth taking a look at this one a little bit later. We have Plug, we have Snap. It's all kinds of stuff down here, guys. I'm gonna stop here. Let's look what's gapping down, and then we'll see what you guys like on your end. T this morning down 6.2. This is AT&T probably earnings norm. Usually when we see them or some more news.
No, they are spinning off Warner Media. Their deal. It's been going on. I didn't dig too much into this. It's not something I'm going to trade.
Yeah.
It trades terribly. It's got a massive
It's horrible.
float, over 7 billion shares. So,
Yeah.
Disc A is in that too. They're kind of together in the
Yeah,
in that
this
deal.
this guy, I traded like a few times, and it's also another horrible trading stock. I just don't like the price action on it at all. It doesn't trade very well, so we'll skip on these two. Nothing good in the gapping down list this morning. Again, depending on your style, AT&T might be worth watching for you. For me, it won't. Definitely in play today, guys. Don't get us wrong. This stock is in play. We're not saying it's not. It definitely got the volume. You have a catalyst on it. We're just saying for the most part, it's not a great trading stock. Today could be a difference, right? You got 4.7, you're down 6.4. If you like trading the stock, you're gonna have some. Hopefully, have a good time today with that one. Norm, what do you like on your end today?
I've got Apple. Nothing really specific on it. It's flat right now, but it's got heavy volume, 2.2 million shares traded.
Yes.
It had a pretty decent drop from the low 180s where it set highs down to 155-ish. And now it's back up to 175. So
Yeah,
keep an eye on that.
I agree. This stock is. I like the candles in the last couple of days. You can see have been really nice here. Not just the green ones, also the downside. You can see great movement in there as well. So Apple is worth watching. Great volume today, as you mentioned, 2.2 million there. So that is good to go there. Guys, let's take it to the room. See what you guys like this morning. Let's start here with Corey. We looked at AT&T. Yeah, not a big fan of that one.
You not
Microsoft.
have NVIDIA on your list?
We didn't look at it. I don't think we got to it.
It's on the gappers. I
It
didn't
is?
spit it out because yeah, it's way down the
Oh, I probably didn't go all
the
the way
list.
down there.
But
Yeah,
yeah,
I see NVIDIA AMD. Yeah, yeah. NVIDIA does look good. Actually, looks real good this morning, guys. This
yeah.
pre-market action on NVIDIA looks real nice, even better than Apple right now. That looks real good. So NVIDIA's on the list. I also saw AMD. I'm gonna look at it now because I know you guys will probably throw that one out too. Yeah, AMD is good as well. Was good yesterday. I mean, all these tech companies, guys, have been doing very well. They did well towards the downside when we had this kind of bit of a sell-off here, and they're doing good right now as well towards the top. So yeah, pick your favorite ones. I got a few on there already. NVIDIA, Apple. I'm gonna look at AMD as a possible as well. Heading over here, Microsoft. We left off there. What's going on with Microsoft? Out of all the tech companies, I mean, this has had some really good days. Don't get me wrong, but today I'd rather look at an Nvidia, at an Apple on a day like today. I think they have a better pre-market activity. Microsoft might get if things start rolling in the queues. Microsoft is going to get the volume. It is going to move, but I'm really liking Apple and Nvidia so far right now. Even AMD is looking better than Microsoft at the moment. And I know it's not a fair judgment because Microsoft, again, pre-market action it's not gonna look great. They're gonna get their volume at the market open if things are gonna go the way we hope to go. XBEV this morning, I have Neo on my list already, which has amazing volume. XBEV's not staying too far behind. They're at 1.2 right now and up 4%. So yeah, EV is getting a little bit of some pop here this morning. We'll put him as a possible. Heading down, OXM. Michael, I don't usually like this one, but it can trade very well. I know you guys have traded
They
this
had
one in the
earnings.
past. Earnings. All right. So maybe,
Yeah.
that can be exciting for them. They have 531,000 right now, up 1.3 after consolidating here, right? Slightly up 75, right? Trying to break out of this 75-ish, 80-ish, right? Maybe 76. So maybe that could be the push that they needed to get going. So in play for sure. I am not a fan of it, but definitely that one is in play. Microsoft, we looked at. Let's take a look here. Plug. Let's see what's going on with Plug this morning. Uh, yeah, yeah. Plug is one of these hit or miss. We'll come back to that. Possible for now. We'll come back to Plug. XOM restructuring, nice. Yeah, that could be a good thing for them. Baba and Tesla. Let's see what Fabio's giving us today. Let's look at Baba this morning. They're pretty quiet this morning. Big day yesterday, like many stocks had, but this morning they're exceptionally quiet and pretty much flat right now. So, yes, they can get going. They probably will. But for our list, for our purpose right now, maybe not one to have on deck. I have Neo instead of Tesla. But same thing. Tesla here also looking rather decent, 565,000. They have moved quite a bit this morning. They were down at 926, as high as 947 looks like. So although it's not showing in percentage here, you do have a nice move in the last couple of hour or two, right? So yeah, definitely worth watching. Daily looks interesting here. We're back at this good level that we had before, some good support and resistance. We'll see. At the market open, we'll see where that goes. Axie, I know Axie's been getting a lot of noise, a lot of movement in there lately. Uh, Axie's tough at the pre-market. I mean, it's not much going on unless you're aware of some kind of news or catalyst of how oil has been trading. You can watch this one on days like we've been seeing with the way the market is moving. I mean, I think Axie is a far down secondary list really with everything else. I mean, tech has really taken kind of the first spot here in the last couple of weeks. Really, all of January we saw some good movement out of that, great continuation, and we'll see if that continues today as well going into this month. UPS, we looked at earnings for them, right, Norm? I believe it's earnings you said.
Yes.
So Juan, definitely in play. I'm just not a fan of the way UPS trades. It can be very choppy and very gappy too. The gaps can be pretty large on that stock, even for the price it is. I think the gaps are too large even for the $200 stock that it is, right? 220. AMD, Nvidia, did we look at? Yeah, NVIDIA and Nvidia are both good. I like both of them. Both of them are good. I have them both here, but I like Nvidia a whole lot more than AMD this morning. I think they're moving well, and their daily's looking really clean too. Their daily's looking real nice as well for a continuation if we're going to get that today. A firm, I don't trade. Yeah, I don't look at A firm. Pretty quiet right now. I know they can get the volume at the market open, but for the most part, right now, it's not looking all that good on A firm. All right, cool. Let's stop here. Let's see what we have over on our YouTube chat. What's my YouTube chat? What's going on? Where did it go? Where are my YouTube friends? Oh, there you are. All right. Good morning, guys. Good morning over on YouTube. Let's see what's going on there. All right, let's see what you guys like this morning. Ben, we'll start with you. You're giving us Neo, XBEV. We actually have both of those. Yeah, XBEV is not my favorite. This is why I have XBEV as a possible instead of a main list. But it is in play today. It's got good volume. It's popping up nicely. But when you compare it to a Neo just seems to trade a little bit cleaner. Let's look at MVIS. MVIS this morning. No, this is not in play. No. 63,000, no volume, flat. Pre-market action is not, no. Let's move on to another one. Allen, that one is not, for what we're looking to do, that one is definitely not going to cut it today. CIAO, Xiao, that's not a ticker, not coming up for me.
Chow.
Yeah, I don't know, Xiao.
That's Chow.
That's Chow, CAIO, that's
Chow.
Chow?
Yeah.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah.
Well, Chow is not coming up here as a ticker, so I'm not sure if you're spelling that.
Because it means high in Italian.
Oh, hi back to you, man. I did not know that. All right. Yeah, hi back to you. That's what you meant to type there. If not, send us a correct ticker. We'll look at it. Tesla, guys. Yeah, Tesla's good. You can put that on your list. SoFi. I know they can move very well at times. Pre-market action is looking good right now. 947,000, up 2.2. Yeah. We got SoFi. Secondary for now. Roblox. What is Roblox doing here? Roblox. All right, Roblox there. They're up a little bit, 3.7, 295. These guys can move, man. Just be careful. Their price action, they're not a low flow, but they can move very weird. So be careful with that.
Jason just said you should check Aloha.
Come on now. Let's not get out of hand. That's a good one. Thanks, Jace, for the comedy this morning. All right, excellent. Roblox, possible, guys. I'm not a big fan of Roblox. Again, I am in love with Neo, Apple, and Nvidia right now. I mean, that's all you really need to look at today. And AMC. AMC is looking, really good with their earnings. I'm sorry, was it earnings? No, was not earnings.
No,
It was
pre-release.
Pre-release, right? Pre-release. They actually have earnings on the 9th of March. So again, that's far out. All right, good to go. AMC is good. Be big. No. Let's not go that route now. Be big is what do we have here? No. Look how bad this stock is. 1.3 million shares traded, and look what we're doing here. It's just absolutely nothing. This stock is banned from our watch list. American Airlines, travels companies. American Airlines ran up pretty good yesterday, but I don't think it's really in play today. It's just doing whatever the market does. So if the market runs today, you can look at it if you want to trade American Airlines. But for the most part, this is really not in play. I mean, look at it now, pre-market. You're not getting any type of volume here. 320.
Travel might be in play.
enough.
It's not looking great right now. There was word of some funds dipping their toes into some airlines.
Yeah, we'll see how that
morning.
goes.
I think it was specifically on Love, but
okay, Love's getting some love. Right, we'll see how it goes. They all had a big move yesterday. I mean,
they had a big move yesterday, and we'll see if it continues. But that was part of the news. What's going on there?
Yeah. All right, we'll see. All right, guys, let's stop here. Over on YouTube, please hit that thumbs up. We appreciate it very, very much. It does help us out a ton. You'll be surprised how much that can help us out there. So, all right. So as far as level as tickers, guys, AMC, PLTR, Neo, Apple, and Nvidia, and we can have a huge list today because even our possibles list looks very good. Most days, our possibles list can be a main watch list, right? But we got to be picky today because we just can't watch all that many. So we'll stop here. Let's go to our community events and announcements, and we'll come back after that to fine tune this list.
Yes, we flipped these webinars because Eamon is out sick. So tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern, you're going to have Fundamentals of Risk Management with Jared. And then next week will be the ABCD pattern webinar. Note the 5 p.m. special time next week because of Eamon's time zone. Then tomorrow night, when markets change, Dr. Kenneth Reed will be giving one of his Mastermind Pro Series webinars talking about ever-changing markets. And then next week, at 5 p.m. Eastern on Wednesday, will be Kreda talking about Mental Edge Series Part 2, going deep to level up. I wish I have not read the synopsis there, but check out the webinars page where you can see all that and get an idea of what it is. If you have not checked it out, go to stocktradingsimulator.com. You can try our free web-based replay simulator. You don't have to sign up for anything, but if you'd like to while you're there, you can put in your email to get homework assignments from us that come about twice a week. We don't sell that list and we don't spam it. If you're watching on YouTube, you haven't been in the chat, you can do so at a discount. Use the promo code premarket24. It'll get you it'll get you a discount off the intro membership, which is a one-time payment. It does not recur. It does not bill you again. It cancels after a week. And then also you can check our homepage to get the our new Valentine's Day promotion. There you go.
All right, thank you very much. I'm having some fun here with the chats, and now
Yeah.
they're saying, they're sending, "Hey, check out hello." That's
Hola.
good.
I can't mess with you. You know more languages than I do, so
This month is starting out very, very nice. All right, guys, let's get to it. All right, what we have: AMC, PLTR, NEO, Apple, and Nvidia. Again, your list can look completely different today. You can still have a blockbuster list today. It could look really good. Let's get my hotkeys from my levels. Make sure we got that set up here, and we're good to go. So AMC, guys, nice little pop after kind of consolidating here around 16. A couple of times to try to get going, it was slammed right back down. So we'll see if this is going to do anything today for us. I have the pre-market looking at 1888 right now, so that's pretty good there. Above that, you do have a slight level here at 2012. That's a good one too. Where the price action is sitting at right now, this is actually a decent level area for this stock because you're sitting right at 1780. And if you look at 1780, you got a couple of areas right over here where you're seeing, oh, that's too much. That's too much. Go right here. You're seeing a kind of a little bit of support there, a little bit of resistance there. Again, it's an area. It's not going to be exact every time, guys. So don't get too hung up on that. But you can see that area definitely has a lot of going on there. Previous day close was almost close to that, right? This candle is pretty much coming back to being flat there. So we'll see. Pre-market, you're seeing that activity play out right now, right? This is not happening just because it decided to do it at 1780, right? They're seeing we're seeing a lot of touches on the daily and other areas as well. So 1780, you could clearly see that being an area you want to have on your list. Towards the bottom, this is the main levels of support you're getting here, guys, down at 16. Tons of stuff happening here. So this is where you want to be paying attention to if you're going to be dropping here and heading back down. That's where you can find some support because we have had support there plenty of times. But I am going to mark down this 1725. Do not put a lot of weight on here, but you do have this weight kind of popping up here, 1725. So we'll put that on there, see if there's any buyer step up in there. But for the most part, the support is at 16. You know, we're far from that right now, but this is the main level that you want to have on there. Looking at the bigger picture, you're pretty much set as far as the daily. Good levels towards the bottom and highs and lows towards the top, previous day close, all that fun stuff. PLTR this morning, they are, man, I don't know. They're hit or miss, right? Let's get some levels in here. They got great volume today, the 1.2 million. 1450 is high of the pre-market, 1449 to be exact. Above that, we do have an area here at 1550. Also, you can see some support happening there, a little bit of resistance here as well. Nice rejection there on this day here, so that is good. Towards the bottom, you do not need to add anything. You can leave these just as is. Highs and lows from the last two trading days are doing pretty decent stuff there. You can mark down if you want to get fancy, right here in the pre-market, 1424, you're seeing a little bit of support happening there. Right, all depends on the time frames that you trade. Right, the smaller time frames you use, levels at the 5-minute can be important for you. If you're using bigger time frames like the 15-minute or the hour, this might not be as important for you. So that depends as well. But right now you're seeing a little bit of support there, so might as well throw that in there if you have if it makes sense for the way you're trading. Daily levels are always going to be good no matter what time frame you're using, but these other levels, it's going to depend a lot more on what time frames you're finding your strategies. Here's NEO, guys. NEO right now looking really good, up 1.5, 2.1 million. Low of the pre-market. This thing was down at 23. Has done a very good move already in the pre-market. That's not going to reflect on the gap up numbers, right? So you're up 1.5 just off of this here, But if you look at the whole picture, you move pretty decent, in the pre-market so far, right? You were down probably almost 3%, looks like there. So looking nice there on Neo. Big move in the morning so far. Yesterday had a nice day, some good volume. Let's see if that's going to continue today. These continuation moves can be nice, but they're not easy to come by at times, right? So 24.99 high of the pre-market. Above that, you have 25.95 right up here. So looking good. If the market does trend to the upside this morning, this can help out Neo quite a bit. They got the volume. They're ready to go. They just need a little push to kind of help in that direction. Apple, guys, low of the pre-market, 174. This one got going very early on. A lot of the other stocks yesterday kind of did this. Just kind of, they struggle a little bit, and then they kind of just okay, we're moving. Okay, this is what we're doing today. We're going northeast. All good. Apple just set this, boom, just went straight up and then kind of went flat a little bit. So if you missed that original opening there, you was probably not going to catch a good move, because after that, you can see how choppy and sideways it went there. So 2.3 million, pretty much flat right now, but still going to watch here this morning. Towards the top, I'm going to have some levels here for you. 176. 176 is a good one there. A lot of touches on 176 there, as you can see. And then right up here, you're going to have a couple. You're going to have this one here, 180, and obviously all the way up here, a very clean level, 182. So we'll see what kind of strength we have here. I mean, guys, the last 2 trading days have been really big moves. As Norm mentioned, we were down at 154 just 4 to 5 days ago. Was 5-6 days ago, right? Hanging around at 158 over there, and now we're sitting at 174. This is a big move. We'll see if this is going to have any more buyers left to continue that trend there. Here is Nvidia, guys, looking really good as well. High of the pre-market, we're sitting at 253.24. Above that, we're going to have a level right over here at 260s, 488. And then slightly above that, we have a couple here. We have this one, which is a real good one, 284.68. I don't think we'll get there today. And you also have this one down here as well, because you have the consolidation happening right between here at around, what's this? We're looking at 272.83. So we'll slam a level there as well. So pretty much set towards the bottom. You can mark down the low of the pre-market if you like. It's slightly above the previous day close, over at 246.70. And then below that, guys, highs and lows from the last 2 trading days are taking care of you there. So you're all set. All right, that is our list, guys. Secondary list, AMD. You can move that up if you like. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I have 5. You have Lucid with actually Lucid's starting to look pretty nice here, guys. Good volume. Maybe we'll move Lucid up today. Yeah. Let's bring this one up. We'll move Lucid up into the main stage here. Let's get some room between our list. And let's do some levels for Lucid, because they definitely have a nice little pop here. 30.74 is a good level there. And then above that, let's see, man, this level is so clear. 36.48. I'm going to mark it down. I don't know. I'm not saying we're going to get to that. That's pretty far out from the price action now. But man, look how clean that support level is. Doesn't get cleaner than that. And then here you have another support level, not as much weight as this one. This 36.48. That's the main level of support that can now become resistant. I mean, look how many times we tested that. What's that? Almost an entire entire month. It's an entire month we had that level there, right? All of December looks like a little bit into 2022 as well. So that looks good there. Then we have 33.86 as well on there also. Let's get rid of that. Here we go. All right. All set there on Lucid. We have Snap as well. Snap is not looking all that great besides their pop, but the volume needs to come in. Snap only trades great for me when it has amazing volume. So we need that volume in there for Snap. Here is XPEV is okay. We have Neo on the main list. We have Plug in here as well. SoFi is good volume. Roblox. Yeah, you got a couple you can pick from. You can get picky there and decide which one looks best for you. All right, already our moderators list is looking pretty nice as far as what they have going on here. So let's take a look at that now. As we're switching over, guys, over on YouTube, hit that thumbs up. It does help us out a ton, and we appreciate it a whole bunch. So thank you for that. Let's move this over. Refine this. Here we go. Okay, perfect. All right, so let's look at our moderators lineup here. See what we got going on. So starting with Thor, he's looking at AT&T, Microsoft, Lucid, and Neo. Susan is looking at NVIDIA, Apple, Lucid, and AMD. Dima is looking at Apple, Plug, and the Qs. Peter, no IPOs for today. One SPAC coming out this afternoon or morning. Who knows? Peter's list: AMD, Apple, Nvidia. Secondary list: UPS, which is definitely in play, guys. They had earnings, so they're moving, they're gapping up. XOM and Lucid as well. Jared likes AMC, Neo, and Plug, and then secondary list: GameStop, AMD, MVIS if AMC is breaking out, and Megan's looking at Oxy, F, and our mRNA. Megan, I think is your list the same? Wait, Megan, did you just move your list, your tickers around to try to confuse us from what you had yesterday? Oxy's having Megan's having a lot of fun with Oxy and mRNA and four. Don't fix what ain't broken. I agree 100%. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Yeah, she is trying to trick us. I saw that. All right, guys. What else we have? We are pretty much set. Let's take a look at our gappers list. See if anything's popping up here that we might have missed that we should look into. No, we looked at all of these here gapping up. Now UPS is popping up more now. Or no, or AMC dropped. No, AMC dropped. I mean, UPS is popping up a little bit more, but AMC is dropping. They were leading the way. So initial pop here all the way to 1884. They were up like I think it was like what 14%, whatever it was. Now they're dropping down, only up 9.3. So not finding support in any of these levels yet. So we'll see what happens here with AMC. But we know how explosive they can be. So there'll be a lot of fun to watch today. Just be cautious, man. This stock, I mean, it can move so aggressively. You already have 9 million shares traded on this, right? At the market open, this thing is going to go wild. I expect on stocks like this to have that first choppy first 5 to 10, 15 minutes. So just be aware of that, right? Be aware of that choppiness at the right at the bell. Don't jump in right away if you don't have a strategy to do so. Okay, all set, guys. It is early 9:05. We got a couple of minutes to go over a few things. Anybody has any questions? Anything that we might have missed that might look good? Any tickets with a catalyst, like Chow or Hello or anything that we might get into? We can do that. Netflix. Let's take a look at Netflix. Uh, you know what? Oh, Netflix. See, Netflix is gonna close this gap. It's gonna close this gap. I mean, it's just an overreaction. Yesterday, you saw a beautiful pop out of Netflix. I did not have it on my list. I think it might have had as impossible, but I know you guys were talking about it in the chat room because we're looking at this. Um, it might close this gap, man. Netflix is good. Doesn't look good pre-market right now. This is one that we can have on our list. I think that looks decent. Netflix. Here we go. Yeah, let's keep an eye on Netflix. Can we do levels for AMD? Absolutely. Let's do levels for AMD. AMD one again, also really nice, guys. 1.1 million up 2.6. This is an easy one because towards the bottom you're pretty much set here, guys. You got tons of support happening here. You can mark down this area here around 111. And you got a couple of days. These were all previous day close. So you got a couple of days opening, closing right on that area. This one opened up here and sold off. Really, really nasty there. So 111.42. Put that one on there. Right now, this thing is struggling big time with the high of the pre-market around 117.51. So throw that level there. And then towards the top, let's find some good stuff here. Obviously, I love this bounce you're getting there. Levels with a bounce like that, I really like, especially when you can get more confirmation. So 125.25 is good. Towards the bottom. This one doesn't have that much weight, guys. This 121.59. Don't put too much weight on that unless there's some stuff happening. Yeah, you got a little bit of stuff going on there, but it doesn't have a lot of touches. It's not a 115 or whatever this level is. This 114.25, right? Look how many touches you have on that. That is what you need to make a level stronger. But so you got a couple of things out there. Just be mindful of how much weight you put onto a level depending on how many touches it has. This 121 doesn't have many, but from 117 to 125, that is a big move. You're gonna find a spot where people are gonna want to take profits, and that could be it, right? Or getting short if they feel like that's gonna be some kind of resistance. All right, we were good. Norm, anything you like on your end that has popped up that we might not have on our list?
No, still same stuff. We got plenty to choose from today, that's for sure.
Yeah, guys. If and we talk about this a lot. If you're new to the channel or a new member of the community, this is our main list here. This is our possibles list. Today, your possibles list could be your main list, right? Here, there's going to be some preference based on what I like to trade, some preference based on what I have traded well in the past and what I can read very well. So that's going to be, I'm going to be picky based on that as well, right? So your list doesn't, if your ticker's not on here, doesn't mean that it's not in play. That it's not a good ticker. it's just not something I'm preferencing on my trading.
Check
Right?
out
So
ASTR. It's popping up right now. There was just news on it that came out.
ASTR. Look at this. Wow. This is look at the volume coming in there, man.
Check
245 was
float on TI.
greedy.
It's got 164 million in FinViz.
Yeah, 116 million in
Yeah. Okay.
on yeah, so not a low flow stock. This could be interesting. This could be
Yep.
interesting. What's the news?
There's some FAA approval, I believe. I couldn't exactly catch what they said, but
Yeah, yeah. Definitely getting some action, guys. We'll put this one on here. It is not a low flow stock, but again, these lower price
it's
stock
trading a bit like one. You got to be
yeah, when you
careful.
when you're moving, from 480 to $6 in 5 minutes, a dollar plus there, you got to be careful. So we'll put it here on the risky pile. Definitely in play, guys. Volume pouring in here. Let's see if we can get some continuations here. This might be a good one for today. So launch license by February 4th.
There you go.
All right. Very nice. Mike coming in with his list: Apple, Nvidia, and AMD. So he'll be looking at those today. And I think we're pretty much all set, guys. We'll wait for Brian to throw out his list and be ready to go, and then we will switch over to him. In the meantime, guys, over on YouTube, thank you so much. 219 likes. Appreciate that very, very much. If we can get to 300, man, that would be something. I don't think we'll get there, but if we can get pretty close, we really, really appreciate it on our side. All right, excellent. We had a great onboarding class last night, guys. If you missed it, the recording is available. Send me an email, carlos@bearboottrace.com, and I'll send you last night's recording directly to you so you have it. If you haven't joined the community, guys, you can try us out for an intro membership for 7 days. You get access to 2 different chat rooms, access to our live onboarding class. You can ask some questions and kind of just come hang out, see what the environment is like before you decide to make a decision whether to join or not, right? So come in and give it a shot. All right, overall, I think we are pretty much set. Where's how's the cop doing? The robot cop, has it stopped anybody from doing anything? I was looking at that picture yesterday. I just started laughing after the show.
Yeah, that's
265.
pretty
Thank you, guys.
ridiculous.
Appreciate that. All right, anything else, guys? Anything else before we got a couple of minutes here? I don't want to let you guys go just yet. AMC has some magic going on. Let's look at AMC. But you know how, I mean, this stock is definitely in play right now, and you know how explosive it can be if our friends Wall Street Bets or whoever start squeezing this thing, right? You know how easily this thing can get to 20 in a matter of seconds, man. This thing can be very explosive. So we'll keep a close eye on it. I mean, right now, its volume is there. I think it's going to be choppy at the market open. So I'm going to wait to see what it does here before taking a play on this one. But definitely in play this morning. AMC, POTR. POTR is probably the worst one on my list, really, on this main list. Probably could be replaced by even a AMD or a Netflix here. So, and I will pronounce your name, but I don't want to butcher it. Malaveridian. Nalaveridian. I'm so sorry. But MTTR here, guys. Let's take a look. Yeah. Oh, we looked at this. Yeah. No, this is not looking good, man. It's the volume is just not there. Look at the pre-market action this morning, and then look how it trades. This thing does not trade well at all, right? Don't give this credit. Don't look at this and say, "Oh man, this was nice. I could have got in here and got out there." No, you don't know how that traded. And the only thing it probably did that was because if you look at other stocks, they traded very well. So, it doesn't trade well, man. I'll be cautious with that. RoboCop can do stairs. Just saying. Yeah. What if it's one of those parking lots where you have different levels? Yeah. All right, guys. We have to take the elevator. We are all set, guys. Thank you so much for
I
joining.
like AMC, Brett.
Yeah, AMC is good.
Jared called it out. It's on his list.
Yeah, it's on my list too. Well, yeah, it's on our list too. We like AMC. No, AMC's in play, guys. AMC is actually the first one on my list. So yeah, just got to be careful with it. That's all we're saying. Just be careful with that one. But yeah, no, it's in play today for sure. There's no question. See here. All right. Eamon's list. No, Eamon has not put out his list yet. No, he hasn't put out his list yet. So again,
He's
remember,
sick. I don't know
Eamon's
if he's
sick.
trading or not.
Actually, no, he did. He did. He put it ahead of all these other messages. So I missed it. So thank you for that. Eamon's list, potential longs, Apple, CCL, and PFE. So that's his list this morning. Right, and there we go. All right, guys, we will let you go. Brian and Andrew are up next, trading live in the chat room. Thank you so much for joining the pre-market prep over on YouTube. We appreciate you very, very much. Tonight is our strategy class tonight, webinar. So in the webinar room at 8 p.m., do not miss it. There's going to be a whole lot of fun. Take care, guys. Thank you for getting us to 281 likes, almost 300, but we'll take 281 any day of the week. Thank you for that, and we'll see you guys again tonight for 8 p.m. Eastern time or tomorrow at 8 a.m. Take care, guys.
Absolutely. Take care, guys. Trade safe.